welcome back to Tiny's Garden. Today we are going to talk about transplanting peppers and tomatoes. So first, peppers. I have a tray here of crimson, gold, and orange bell peppers. These have been in here for about 5 weeks. They are looking ready to transplant. In general, about 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 sets of true leaves are when you want to transplant your seedlings up into a bigger home. As far as what to transplant in, we want to make sure that we're bumping them up in size, because the whole purpose of transplanting is to give these one more home before their forever home that can really promote a healthy and rich root system. This first leaf here is called a cotyledon. That's the first leaf you'll see on the plant, but that's not considered a true leaf. These next leaves are considered true leaves. So I've got 2 sets there. I started transplanting earlier this week and I ran out of 4-inch cans. So like that one, in a pinch, I used a leftover can from last year and it'll work. You do want to be careful you don't use too big of a container because you don't want that little seedling to be really weighed down by a ton of water. Also, my husband ran out and grabbed me some good old foam coffee containers and I poked holes in them. So there's options if you don't want to necessarily buy 4-inch containers, but mine are here now, so let's put them to use. I'm using regular potting soil in here now, no longer seed starting mix. I'm going to come in with a butter knife. There's a nice single one in a cell right here. Okay, I'm going to lift up. And these are honestly more crumbly than I would like. I need to water them even more, but we will make do. And setting it in there, now I'm going to come in with more soil and backfill. Making sure that I cover all the roots, that I don't drown the stem too much. There we go. It's more like it. He's looking handsome, huh? Then I'm gonna come in and water it in. Voila! I'm gonna do one of these cells that have 2 in it together, and actually both of them look very healthy. This is why it would be ideal to thin to 1, because now they've grown together. Okay. Gently try and separate. So now they're separated. That's the thing with gardening, right? If you make a mistake, you can turn it into an experiment. So far they look okay. I'll keep you updated. Let's mark those before I forget. Did not thin appropriately. Left 2 in the cell. For the record, I am not promoting that you leave more than 1 seedling in when you're thinning, but I do really hope these both flourish. Ah! Look at this dapper gentleman. Oh my gosh. Hey, who's got roots for days? Hey. Another good one. She is on a roll. She is on a roll. Oh, the bottom of the bag is so frustrating. Like, seriously?
Like, seriously?
For any of you out there saying that you can't grow plants, do you see this? You can grow plants. This is one where I did thin down to 1. Yay. And then it looks like another one germinated because it's so far behind the other one. So the little one is not 2 to 3 inches, nor Does it have 2 to 3 true leaves? So this is one where I could just pull it out and basically thin it out from the top. And I'm still debating in my head if I'm going to do that or do the experiment and try and save this little guy. He's cute and he's tiny, so we're going to save him. That was fast. Let's see if I can find as many roots for him as I can. Oh, there I see his little roots. All right. Live long and prosper, tiny one. Okay, we have made it to my last cell in my tray. Oh boy, look how tiny. I can hardly even see it. These are so much shorter and behind the others that I'm 99% sure these germinated late, but we're gonna transplant them anyways. Okay, so these guys are all transplanted. Ideally, these seedlings will have buds, but not flowers, before they go into the actual garden, which will probably be about, for me, 2 weeks from now after our last frost. So they'll continue to grow on in this condition around 70-degree days and 60-degree nights. If it gets too warm in here, I will move them outside so they get more airflow and don't succumb to too much heat. Johnny's Seeds packet has a lot of information on there to give your crop the best chance it can have to be really fruitful. And also Pepper Geek on YouTube is a great channel that focuses just on peppers. So those are my go-tos for resources on these. And I'll keep you updated with my little experiment. Hey everyone, it is 3 days later and I'm pleasantly surprised, but all of these pepper transplants are doing great, including the ones that had 2 seedlings in each cell that I had to gently separate the roots. And quite frankly, I thought I would lose some of them because that's not common practice to keep 2 seedlings in each cell. But all of the blue tags are the ones that were transplanted or germinated late, and I transplanted them when they were very little. And even these guys are doing okay. So I'll keep you updated, but so far, so good. Okay, now for tomatoes. I'm growing cherry tomatoes in here in this cell tray. I have already transplanted some over here, as you can see, using what I had available. But now that I have my 4-inch packs, I'm gonna transplant these. Now my thinning was better on these. There's only one with 2 left in it, so I'll try and separate those. And then the rest should come in nice and easy. For tomatoes, the rule of thumb is you want to have about 6 to 10 inches tall before your first transplant. Similarly to peppers, this will be their next home before their final home in the garden. Now, contrary to pepper plants, which we don't want to suffocate the stem on, when we're getting these tomatoes out, beautiful, nice healthy root there. We want to bury these as steeply as we can up into the first leaf, because the rest of that stem can turn into part of its root system. Then I'll come in and backfill with soil as high as I can to that first leaf right here, which is not a true leaf, but a cotyledon. There we go. Right up to those leaves. And water in and continue. Here's another example of one that had a little seed germinate last minute that I'm just going to pick out and set to the side and place the bigger one in our 4-inch can. Okay, this one's trickier because these are bound together, and this is the one I did not thin to 1. I've seen Christina from Sunshine and Flora go in with a pencil to really delicately split these, which I think is a great idea. I'm gonna try just softly separating. And fill up to the cotyledon. By the way, I can't tell you how many times I had to practice actually saying cotyledon. And as I water in, I'm not overhead watering, but really going right at the soil because I don't want to get too much water on the leaves and try to avoid that if possible. Okay, and we are done. All my tomatoes are transplanted now. The sun is actually starting to come out, so I'm letting more air into the greenhouse. And I've got 2 sets of seed trays that I can wash and reuse for something new. So good luck with your transplanting. That was quite a ride today. I'll keep you updated with my experiment. It has now been 5 days since I transplanted all the peppers and the seedlings, and we are doing great, team. I have lost no seedlings. Again, all of the ones with blue tags are the ones that were either too small and germinated late, or that had 2 seedlings in each cell. Very happy to report my tomatoes are doing just as well as my peppers, including the blue tagged ones, which were the ones that had 2 seedlings in 1 cell tray. So maybe the takeaway is that 1 seedling per cell when you're thinning is still best practice. However, if you do have 2 or something goes awry and you let 2 grow in the cell, or your heart just couldn't handle it to go down to 1, transplant both of them. Be gentle when you're separating the cells and see what happens. So far, so good here. Good luck and happy planting. See you in the next one. Bye.